So the artist I have chosen to talk about today in my speech is Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on August 6, 1928. He went to college and graduated with his Bachelor in Fine Arts degree in 1949. Afterwards, he moved to New York to pursue his career in the fine arts. What some people do not know is that he was also a part of the performing arts, filmmaking, video installations, as well as writing. He eventually got a job at Glamour magazine, taking pictures and also writing about them. He then eventually became the most famous commercial artist of the 1950s. Later in the 50s, he started to switch from commercial artist to painting. In the early 60s, he came up with the concept of pop art, which focuses on the mass production of commercial goods. From this form of art spawned some of his most famous art pieces, one being the Campbell soup cans. And these vary from split pea all the way down to pepper pot. What influenced him to paint the cans, he says, "I was given the same food for 20 years, soups and sandwiches, and I can tell you Campbell's soup is my favorite," said Warhol. He also painted celebrities such as Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor. These paintings were painted in vivid color and were usually in 4 tiles or more. These paintings were so popular that many popular, famous people started asking him to commission art pieces for them, which were in the same style. In 1964, Warhol opened a studio continuing his art career, in which a silver warehouse known simply as the Factory was made. This factory became the place not only for his artwork, but also for social gatherings for the upper class. These socialites include Lou Reed, who wrote the song "Walk on the Wild Side." The songs talk about the factory and all the things that was going on behind the large metal closed doors. In 1968, he was shot by Valerie Solanas, who was an aspiring writer as well as a radical feminist, on June 3rd. This almost ended Warhol's career as an artist, as well as a literature and a filmmaker. After this tragedy, Warhol continued to explore other forms of art. He published books like The Philosophy of Andy Warhol, From A to B and Back Again, and Exposures. Warhol also created video art, producing more than 60 films during his lifetime. Some of his most famous films include Sleep, which depicts a poet sleeping simply for 6 hours, nothing more, nothing less, as well as Eat, which shows a man eating a single mushroom. On February 20th, 1987, he was taken to New York City Hospital, where his gallbladder was successfully taken out, and he began his recovery successfully. However, on February 22nd, he died due to cardiac arrest. Warhol was 58 years old. This is such a young age for an artist of his time. Being shot and defying all the odds, he lived a rather short life and honestly had so much more in him that he could have done as an artist. Warhol pioneered many pop artists that have become popular after his death. Many of the artists today they don't acknowledge him as one of their aspiring artists. And if you look at a lot of the artworks of today, they're similar to his. A lot of the films are similar to his and his filming styles. He contributed greatly, not only to the art world, but also to the literature world and the film industry. Andy Warhol was one of the most famous art people of the whole time. And that's something that people really don't understand, is that he didn't just do art. He did literature, he did film industry, he actually wrote some songs. He didn't sing them, but he wrote them for other artists. And that's just, not a lot of people know that about him, and it's really important that we get to learn about these artists that we have in history, because if we don't, they're gonna die as early as they died, like 58 years old. So if we don't learn about them now, we're not ever gonna learn about them. And that's something that we all need to learn about and study as the youth of today's generation. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Just 14 seconds.